Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. If you're someone who's looking to start your own business, this episode is for you. You do not need a business degree, you don't need a 10-year crazy plan, and you don't need money to start. You just need to start. And that was something that used to really annoy me, especially as a young entrepreneur. It really annoys me, even to this day, where you hear people say just start, but it's not as easy as that if you've no guidance or direction. And it can be extremely overwhelming when someone just says to you, just start. What do you mean just start? And then you try and you get overwhelmed and then you start procrastinating and it's just so annoying and frustrating. So I am hoping to record this episode in the hopes of helping people to actually start and to encourage people to actually start. So we're going to be discussing the 3 Ps. You need not all of them, but at least one of the 3 Ps in order to start your business. If you are listening to this episode on your walk or you are driving in your car, try your best to take mental notes or else take notes in your phone as you go. The 3 Ps are passion, pain, or past experience. You don't need all 3, you need just one to start. Passion can come from something that you love. Like if you love a certain hobby, or you're into fitness, or you're into cooking, or swimming, or cycling, or writing poetry, or whatever it is, sharing your life, content, creativity, artistry, whatever it is, music, you can use that passion and monetize it. And here's how. Pick something that you would do for free, choose something you would do for free, and give it away for free for 6 months to a year. When I started out Cake Coaching, I didn't just wake up one day and was like, oh, I'm going to launch my online coaching business. I was in the middle of college. I realised I didn't want to do teaching. I was always into fitness, health and fitness, and I always knew I was going to do a personal training course. And I took action on it. I was like, I want to do the personal training course now because I wasn't waiting any longer. I basically wasn't happy or content with the teaching side of things in regards to teaching English and French as subjects. And for those who are new here, I studied English and French as my undergrad and in the pursuit of being a secondary school teacher. And when I realised that that was something that I didn't like, and it was heartbreaking because I thought that that's all I wanted to be growing up. And so that's when I decided to take action on becoming a PT in the middle of college, because I was like, look, at least I can pursue that straight away after college. And then I started doing it for free. I just showed up on Instagram every single day during lockdown and I was doing these live workouts every single day. And it wasn't me thinking that this was going to be a business of mine, because I was useless at business in school. I actually hated business in school because I didn't understand it and I was so bad at it, or at least I was told I was so bad at it. Or well, exams. I failed my exams in all of my business classes. So I suppose you could say like the exams were telling me that I was bad at it, and I was never mathsy or that in school. So I wasn't thinking that I was going to be setting up my own business when I was doing these live workouts for free during lockdown. I just wanted to help improve people's overall mental and physical health. And I also wanted to practice for my exams, for my PT exams, where we would have to teach classes and basically pass those exams, teaching fitness classes. So I was like, okay, if I'm hitting 2 birds with one stone, I'm training anyway. So I was training him in my shed. It was an old milking parlour at home anyways. And I was like, I may as well I knew I always wanted to grow a social media following. I knew I loved Instagram. So I knew that was something I always wanted to do in general. And then I just said to my best friend one day, I was like, why don't I just start doing live workouts now, because it'll improve people's mental and physical health. I'm doing the workouts anyway, and I need to practice for my exams. And she was like, go for it, just do it. And that's when I started doing live workouts on Instagram every single day for close to a year, I would say. And initially 1 or 2 people were showing up, and then it was 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30 people showing up to the live workouts, and then people were saving the workouts afterwards as well so that they could do them later on in the day during lockdown. And that is a great example of using your passion, doing it for free over a long period of time to build trust, to build a community, to show people what you're about. Like, I very much wear my heart on my sleeve, like, completely. And I think that's to my strength. It's also to my weakness, but it's mainly to my strength in being vulnerable and being honest. And I will always do my best online to be as honest and open as I possibly can. And I think people see that. People see that, you know what I mean? And it's refreshing. It really is. When I see someone who comes online and they're just honest, no bullshit, and they're not standing up trying to just hard sell you something, or if they are, at least own it. Do you know what I mean? I think Sean Casey is absolutely fantastic at that. Like, he'll just come on and he'll be like, look, I'm hard selling to you here. And I think people appreciate that more over just trying to shove stuff down your throat on Instagram or on ads or whatever it is. You know, it's just, it gives me the ick. It really does. So you have to make sure that this is something that you're passionate about and that you want to help people, or you're passionate about a service or a product or a hobby. It could be anything. Honestly, when you're passionate about something, it just comes across. If someone was passionate about cooking utensils or painting or bird watching, and that was something that, like, I'm not interested in any of those at all. But if I saw someone who was so passionate about that and obsessed with it, I'd buy into it. 100% I would buy into it. You know, like, it's mad. But when someone's so passionate or obsessed over something, you buy into them. You really do. You're like, wow, that bird watching is amazing. You know what I mean? And I love hearing other people's stories of what they're passionate about. And when I just see that passion and that fire in them, you don't care what it's about. You know what I mean? You're like, I'll buy that cooking utensil off you, or I'll come bird watching with you. I'll pay for that experience, you know? So stop thinking like, oh, will people buy this? Or, you know, will people show up and things like that? You have to really let go of the fear of judgment and your ego and just go for it. And I know that's really difficult as well, but that's a whole podcast in itself. So I will do that on a later date. Fear of judgment and things like that. If you're someone listening, and so give it away for free for a year, 6 months to a year. And from there, you will be able to build a community, and from there you will be able to either sell your product through the community or your service through the community. So that's one way of starting. And you know what's lovely about that is that when you're giving away stuff for free, there's no pressure. There's no pressure involved in, you know, how good the service is or how good the product is or whatever. You know, it takes away all the pressure from you. And when there's no pressure involved, you just tend to be more yourself, you know, and it's just lovely. It's really, really lovely. And I remember when I was starting out as well with coaching, like, not only did I give away like over hundreds and hundreds of hours of live free workouts, I wasn't doing that intending on setting up or launching my own online coaching business. I was doing that because I was doing it for the love of it and because I wanted to help people. That's why I wanted to do it. And when I was starting out, even launching my online coaching, I still coached people for free. I still took on people for free and at lower prices to build up my confidence and to take away the pressure. I wasn't taking people's money so that if it did go crap or it was a horrendous experience, at least I hadn't taken people's hard-earned money. Don't worry if you don't have a passion or you're not passionate about something just yet. I think that's something also to just be aware of. It's okay if you're not passionate about something or you haven't found that just yet. Don't feel bad if you're listening to this and being like, oh, I just wish I had a passion. Like, I don't know, you don't wake up one day and you're like, I'm so passionate about this. You know, I think you can definitely find something that you're passionate about through doing other things. So if you're watching this and you don't have a passion, you shouldn't feel bad over that or shame, or you shouldn't feel sad over that. That's okay. That's absolutely okay. You can use one of the other 2 P's, which I'm going to chat about now. Pain is the next P that you can use. Pain is something that is such a good emotion or feeling to use to your advantage. For example, me setting up this podcast was initially to help people with their relationship with food and body image and things like that. And whilst that will still drip feed throughout it, I wanted to start this new rebrand of things to help those who are also feeling the same pains that I'm feeling I'm in the messy middle of entrepreneurship right now, where I'm 3 years in and I know how to do startups and I know how all the systems run and things like that. But now I'm at a point where I need to scale and I'm finding that really hard and I feel really stuck. And I just want entrepreneurs who are in the messy middle like me to be able to relate to something, to relate to this pain and this struggle. And I want to document all of it. And again, like, not waiting for the perfect moment to start and just taking action. Like I was saying, oh, will I wait till I have the funds to get a better podcast studio, get a better setup? You know, will I wait for this? Will I wait for that? And, you know, I kept putting it off, but I was like, if I'm going to take my own advice that I'm going to be given to other people, is just start. Just start imperfectly, start messy. You don't need to have it all figured out. You know, I'm not coming on here saying I'm the most successful entrepreneur ever. No, I'm saying that I am a successful entrepreneur, but I'm in the messy middle of trying to go from, you know, 10k months to scaling, you know, and trying to build teams and making sure that I build and scale the right business, you know, and that it still holds all of its integrity and it still holds all of its morals and, you know, its values, and that it's a business built off honesty and integrity, and it's not building and scaling something that I don't necessarily want. And sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, and I tend to do that a lot. It's the undiagnosed ADHD. But with pain, I suppose, as I started my initial business, the K Coaching, my coaching business, off the back of passion, but it ended up turning into pain because I really, really ended up struggling with my relationship with food and body image at the hands of a coach who was educated in the field, just not enough, but also who didn't care about my overall health. Like, he didn't care about it. I had a binge eating disorder. There were so many red flags that I had. One, I had flagged it to him that I was binging and that it was out of control, and it was his duty to know that, like, to refer me out to professionals and to get professional help. He knew I didn't have a period. Again, red flag. He should have referred me out to get professional help, and he didn't. And so I ended up with a horrendous eating disorder, and it would take me 3 to 4 years to come out of a really poor relationship with food and my body, and my overall mental and physical health suffered at the hands of this coach. So from there, that pain, I turned it into purpose, and I got my own nutrition cert on disordered eating, compassionate coaching, helping people's relationship with food. I ended up helping hundreds and hundreds of people with their relationship with food and body image. And now I am mentoring coaches on how to compassionately coach, how to, you know, help their clients with relationship with food and body image, or with whatever kind of problems they're facing. And also I get to help them with all the business side of things, which is also something I'm super, super passionate about, which is really cool. So that's me using my pain and turning it into something positive. in helping others, and now I'm helping other coaches. And the aim of this podcast is to also help people who feel like they're struggling with money, with finding their passion, with wanting to set up their own business or build their own brand and not knowing where to start, going against the grain, essentially, and just having the balls to do that. And hopefully this podcast will inspire you to go after your dreams and to stop sitting on them, you know, like to actually go and do the thing and try it. You know, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is our life, and it's passing us by. And that's something that just made me pull up my big girl pants and just start this podcast that I've wanted to start for so long now, or at least direct and pivot it more towards this side of content. And if people don't like it, that's fine. You know, that's the risk I'm taking. I can't be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm after growing and changing as a person. And this is the way I want to pivot things. And this is what I love and I'm passionate about. And I found this passion, like I was chatting about, I found this passion through the doing and through owning my own business and then setting up another one. And, you know, when I set up the second one, it was easier because I had the framework from the first one, and I want to teach people how to do that, but I also want to show people how it's so hard. Entrepreneurship is so hard, and you know, I've gotten this far, but I want to show people what I learned through my scaling onto the next step as well. So, you know, this podcast for me is really outside my comfort zone, and doing this is really outside my comfort zone, but only good things come from that. And I'm taking a risk because my initial audience were following me for relationship with food and body image, and now I'm fitness. And whilst that's still definitely going to be there in the sense of mentorship to help other coaches with that, it's not going to be there for, you know, one-to-one clients. It's not going to be there anymore for that. Hopefully I'll have a course on it that I'm aspiring to do, and maybe be able to do talks on it and things like that and help on a larger scale in that sense and help more so from the top. But that's a risk that I'm taking because I want to pursue entrepreneurship and I want to take it to a really high level, and I want to have a podcast that discusses all of those things. And here I am. This is what I'm doing. And I obviously also want this podcast to be a space for people who can tell their stories. And I just love interviewing people, different people from all walks of life, on health, fitness, mindset, business, anything and everything. And that's what's going to go as well. So using your struggles or your pain and trying to turn that on its head into something positive. Like, ask yourself the question, what is it that I needed for my younger self? Or what is something that I need right now? And how can I provide that? And for me, I need help in scaling my business. I need help in direction. I need help in compartmentalizing different things and making sure they're all organized, and whether I should get investment or not, and all of these big girl things I need help with. So that's why, you know, it's like, that's why I'm documenting it as well, is because I'm like, okay, I've gotten this far. How did I get this far? And what did I need when I was starting out, and how did I do it? And I've had so many people ask me, and I was like, okay, like, this is actually something I love helping people with, and I love doing it for free, hence why I'm here doing it and recording it and trying to help all of you. So ask yourself, what is it that I need right now, or what did my younger self need, or how can I turn this painful experience into a positive? That's another thing that you can tease out. The final P is past experience. This one, hopefully a lot of people will have, and that's just using a skill you have from your past job or a past experience to turn into a business. So you have a lot more skills than you think. And a lot of people are like, no, I don't have a skill. And I'm like, do you play an instrument? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's a skill. Can you write? Yeah, that's a skill. Can you speak another language? That's a skill. Can you speak well on camera? That's a skill. Do you like documenting your day-to-day content creation? That's a skill. Do you like painting? That's a skill. Do you like writing? That's a skill. How can you turn that into something that you can make a living from? Start a blog. Start your own Instagram page. Start your own YouTube. Start your own TikTok. There's a girl here, I'm going to get her on the podcast and interview her, Gemma Gallagher. She was a teacher in Dubai and she loved painting. And she ended up setting up her own business and it's called Wine and Dine, or it's basically a paint and sip business where she teaches people how to paint, like corporate teams, hen parties, occasions, you know, things like that, where groups of people will go to an event that she can organise for them, and it's kind of like a paint prosecco event or whatever theme you kind of want, and you do a little paint and sip, like community, team building, all of that. And she has a business here doing it, and she also has one at home. She scaled it to back home as well. And that's a clear sign of turning your passion or her skill of art into doing something that she loves and making a living from it. So your skills can be anything. Like you don't need to go to college, or you don't need to, you know, have a degree, or you don't need to have like this insane skill or be crazily talented. Like another thing would be, I was housekeeping for years in a hotel. And if I can look back at that time and be like, okay, what was it that I needed? What would have been really helpful to me when I was cleaning in the hotel? You know, what would be something that our staff would have needed? And you're looking at a problem for the staff, and then you're using something to solve that. Okay? Or that's another way, like looking at different problems in the world and being the solution to it. Or if you know, what I'm trying to think of other things that I used to do. Oh yeah, I worked in a cafe and I learned barista skills. And I got trained up as a barista. So even if you don't have a skill, or thinking like sitting there listening to this podcast being like, I can't find a skill, go and get a job and learn through the job, learn a skill through the job, go work in a bar, learn how to pull pints, learn how to make cocktails, get them to teach you how to waitress properly, get the top waitress or waiter in your restaurant and get them to teach you how to wait tables properly. You know, do something like doing something even like that, and then you can go anywhere in the world with it. You know, you can learn how cafes work, get the barista skills and go set up your own, you know, or see how they bake their goods, or whatever it is, whatever. Ask someone, can you shadow them? You know, if there's someone who you really look up to and who you want to be like, go ask them, can you shadow them, and learn from them. Okay? So you don't really have an excuse. To wrap up this episode, I want you to pick one of the 3 P's, either passion, something that you would do for free and start doing it for free, pain, a painful experience that you've been through or something you're struggling with or something you did used to struggle with, and asking yourself, what is it that I needed back then, or what is it that I need, and using that and turning the pain into a positive. 3, use a past experience of a skill that you have, or else if you don't have that, go out and learn. Go out and learn a skill. Shadow someone who a year down the line you want to be like. Get mentored by someone who a year down the line or 10 years down the line you want to be like. I'm in the middle of trying to choose my mentor right now, and there's one that I really, really want to go with, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to afford it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And I want to be like him. You know, he's an inspiration to me. Well, I want to be like me. I want to be myself, but he's a big inspiration to me. You know, so choose someone who you would like to be like, or who you can learn from, and go and say that you're going to shadow them, or that you want to get work experience from them, or you want to learn from them and you want to do a mentorship with them. Okay? And whatever P you choose, whatever P you pick, write down 3 business ideas underneath that. If you need help hashing it out, just pop me a DM and I can help you hash it out. Or if you feel a bit overwhelmed from this episode, trust me, I know that feeling all too well. Just pop me a DM and we can get on a call and we can hash it out. If you found this episode valuable and helpful, please rate the show and subscribe to it and follow it, because it would really, really help me out and it would help me on my entrepreneurial journey to success, and I would just really appreciate it. And if you do come up with an idea or anything like that, or if you do decide that today is the day that you are going to choose to pursue your passion and follow your dreams, make sure to hashtag us, hashtag one day or day one. And yeah, I wish you all of the success on your journey and positive vibes. Chat soon.